that going and we could tap into this. Yo, Kiwi, what's going on? All right, so please note that the following is not legal or financial advice and is provided for educational and informational purposes only. Investing in securities carries a high degree of risk and can result in the loss of your entire investment. You should consult with a qualified financial advisor or legal professional before making any investment decisions. The information contained in this presentation does not constitute an offer or solicitation to buy or sell any securities or other financial instruments. Any opinions expressed in this presentation are subject to change without notice and should not be relied upon as a recommendation to buy or sell any securities. Please do your own due diligence and research before making any investment decisions. All right, what's up, y'all? We got people rolling through. What's up? What's up? What's up? We got three of y'all. Thank you for coming through. There's my boy Toki FRNK in this mug. I keep wanting to say Toki Frank, but I'm just guessing it's FRNK. Yo, Jay Mills, what's going on? What's up with you? RNA in the building. I see y'all. I see y'all. So we got to do the trade recap. We got to do the trade recap. Appreciate the likes. I appreciate the likes. Anosh, what's going on? You can say Frank. All right. So Toki Frank. That's what I was thinking. That was my very, very first mind off jump. But we just doing a trade recap. We're just gonna do a trade recap on what happened. You guys know how I like to get down. Yo, Anthony, what's going on? Yo, Toki Frank, I'm doing good, bro. How's everything out your way? How was the trading day for you? How was the trading day? So let us get into it. You guys know my setup. You guys know how I get down. My lives are all for the new traders out there, especially options traders. So I like to go in, do a recap of the trade that I did, and then we get into a little bit of live charting, talk about some financial current events, see what's going on, all of that kind of stuff. But let's go to the trading chat room, bring that down right quick. And so these were the ones that I spotlighted last night, right here, as you can see, yesterday at 8:09 p.m. in the Discord. I was taking a look at Walmart, Amazon, Nvidia, and Target. Those are the main ones that had the cleanest setups to me. And so I took one trade. Y'all know that my style is one and done. I don't even want to put myself in a position to give money back to the market. So my style was one and done. And when the market was opening up, these were the four, at least from last night, that were looking the most promising. But what I landed upon today was the first one, which is Walmart. Now, in my charting notes, this is what I put in my charting notes, that it was approaching an all-time high and it has been moving in this specific pricing channel since about June 13th. I'll be looking for a pullback down near the low of $67 range to enter calls to the upside. Now, I actually got in on the pull down. I didn't get in on the calls. I got in on the pull down, which is pretty great. So here was the chart and what it looked like last night before the market opened. This is what the charting was looking like. This is the 30-minute chart on Walmart. This is the 30-minute chart on Walmart. All right, Toki Frank says having eyes on HD. I'll go take a look at HD again too. Shoot. Let me see if there's some more money over there at Home Depot. I'll go take a look at HD. But this is what the chart for Walmart looked like last night, 30-minute chart. So down here where the cursor is moving, this was that initial kind of like pricing channel that I was noticing that Walmart was forming. And so for the most part, it's just kind of bouncing off of the walls in here. This was the one the other day that got me stopped out, actually just yesterday. But I went back and got all that money back that I lost on Walmart, right, from being shook out. And this is the power of following a trading plan. We can see it here, right? So even more so than the money that I lost because I kept my stop loss pretty small, I made twice the amount today just following the same plan right here. So this is what the chart looked like. Now, originally, let me kind of move myself out the way. I was thinking that it'd come up here, right? Look where my cursor's at. I was thinking it would come up here and then bounce on down and I would catch like the calls. Once it came down here, I would catch calls on the right up, right? We had this bullish candle on the 30-minute on how the day ended. So I was thinking that going into today, we'd have more of that or really coming off down here. But let's get into the live and we can check it out. Money Bounty says, which time frame do you use for entry? Now, this is going to crack you up, or I don't know how you're going to feel about this. Sometimes people are kind of confused. I am a scalper, right? I've said this a few times in my lives. My most successful, my most profitable trades are about 10 minutes or less. I'm not saying that is what you should go for or anything like that. That's just naturally what happens with me. I sometimes wish that they kind of were a little bit more prolonged, because sometimes I feel like my community doesn't have enough of an opportunity to get in on these trades when I get in on them. But I just kind of take solace in the fact that I do my charting the night before. So at least people see the setup and they see my line of thinking before it even happens, at a minimum, at least with the charting. But to answer your question, love thy neighbor. Thank you for the follow. Money Bounty, to answer your question, I enter on the 30-minute time frame. Now, the reason why that is, as somebody who scalps, why I don't use the 1 minute or the 5 minute or the 10 or even the 15, for some reason, just the way that my mind and my eyes are, the way that I'm designed, the lower time frames are too noisy to me, and sometimes I get a little confused, sometimes I get shook, sometimes I get a little like, oh, and I get out of a trade before I should have, I get in a trade before I should have. So really what I do is I start off at the high time frames, maybe 1 month, 1 week, 1 day. I might even play around with the 2 day, but really the lowest I kind of go is about the 30-minute. And just the way the candles move on the 30-minute, the way everything shakes out visually, the way my mind makes sense of everything, I'm just very in tune with the market on the 30-minute time frame. So that's where I'm entering and exiting. I don't even look at the 1 or the 5 or the 15. All right, Artie, thank you for the follow. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Lycos, thanks for coming through. Run up the likes. We're running up the likes. Let's see if we can get something going on right quick. But yeah, so I hope that answers your question. Here we are looking at the 30-minute chart for Walmart. I was looking for an opportunity on either one of these sides, right? Bouncing off of the top of this pricing channel down for puts, or bouncing off of the bottom of the pricing channel to come up for some calls. All right, so let's go. You guys know I like to bring up or open up that trading view so we can see live time how that played out. It looks like the connection is getting a little slow on my end from just looking at the camera. Of course, that happens. I really don't like that at all. I really, really don't. But we're just gonna keep rocking with it and keep going. Yo, yeah, thanks for coming through. Appreciate you. All right, all right. So let's let this load up. I'm gonna close out of some of these. Let's take a look. And the thing about today is I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. Straight up locked in, one in, done. I did, as soon as I have my trade profits, I closed the charts down. I closed the apps down. I didn't even look at it. I went on about my day, and that was that. So I don't want to risk it, you know. It's all about keeping those profits and growing our accounts, y'all. That's all about. So while this is loading up, because of course this wants to take forever to open up in true trading view fashion. All right, here we go. Here we go. So yeah, look at this right here. So I ended up getting in on the puts. And here is Walmart, right? Here is Walmart on that 30-minute. This was the candle right here on the chart that I did last night. This is how the day opened up right here. So we have this nice little gap up. We came up to the top of the little channel. We bounced off of it. I got into puts right about this area right here. Right about this area right here is where I got into puts. I entered, and then I took it all the way down, and I exited right about here for some profits. But I could have held on to it, right? You could have held on for longer. If you've been on my lives, that's typically the case, right? For me, there's always that opportunity to hold on for longer, but I rather not even play around with the market. But it could have came down here to get a little bit more money, and then eventually all of that was quickly reclaimed back up because the price did not want to break below yesterday's high. That's what this white line right here means. That was yesterday's high. So price did not want to go below it, or at least stay below it. And we ended there. So Walmart is doing good. It's in the all-time high range. I think a lot of that has to do with the economy. A lot of people are cutting back. I think places like Walmart, or I think Walmart specifically, is going to continue to have some bullish momentum because the more pricey things are really starting to dig into people's wallets. And so people are going to be looking for more discounts, ways to be more economical with their savings and all that kind of stuff. Uh-huh. Toki Frank says, "You're disciplined, bro. Got to be able to step back once you close." That's right. Exactly. I've been burned so many times. I think all of us can relate to that. I've been burned so many times. So I just want to show it through real life example, the ability to step back and walk away, especially if you're new to trading. I want you to use me, all of my mistakes, all of my errors, all the money I've lost, so that you can bypass all of those mistakes. And then you can see me in real time how I operate. Now, scalping isn't for everybody. Some people are more day traders. Some people are more swing traders. Take the time to find that works out for you. I'm surprised. I don't know why scalping really worked for me. And maybe because I work a full-time job. I do work a gig, so I probably am having to get in and out of my trades as quickly as I can so I can get back to focusing on work. But yeah, so one more time so we can see it. This is the first candle of the day that opened up for Walmart. We popped up to the top of the pricing channel a little bit, and then we just came on down. So let me show y'all the receipts over here in the trading chat room or Curtis G's trades. So here is today right here. I'm in Walmart puts. This is what I did. As you guys know, I typically spend about, this was a little bit more pricey for me today. But I typically spend about $1,000 on my trades. Each trade that I take is about $1,000. Um, and so I know it looks a little blurry, but I got 83 contracts at about 14 each. 83 contracts at about 14 each would brought me there. And then look, this was at 631. And then 20 minutes later, so this was a bit of a longer trade for me. 20 minutes later, here we are. I don't know if y'all could see that, but made a decent penny today, about 28%, almost 29% return, which was about $330. I cannot complain with that at all. Super happy. You know, one thing that I always do to keep in the context, and this isn't by no means bragging or nothing like that, but we got to remember the average American isn't making that much money in a short amount of time like that, let alone a day, right? I did the math, right? The average person, if they worked 8 hours a day, that equates to about $41 an hour. The average person isn't making that much money. Now, of course, we all know people that have great jobs that are making $70 an hour. You might know some nurses, you might know some software programmers, things like that. But the average person, the average gig isn't paying that. And I always tell that to myself because it helps keep me humble. You know, for us traders out there, the way that we make money is so different than everybody else. It becomes very easy for us not to appreciate these wins. So like I said, I'm a conservative trader. I like my base hits, so I'm just stoked out. I'm happy. $330 in 20 minutes. I mean, what more could I ask for? Nice solid day. Tucky Frank say I know some girls do. uh, all right, all right. AV, thanks for joining. Thanks for coming through. We're just doing a little trade recap right here. And so that was my one and done trade of the day. Now, this is a little too much. All right, let me go ahead and let's get into some live charting to see what I see. What am I potentially looking at? What am I potentially looking at on the trade? So if I wanted to, because it still seems like Walmart is, this could be considered a nice swing high, right? And we could start to begin to come on down, even though this last candle of the day was a bullish hammer, which indicates that we might still see a little push up tomorrow or continue bullish move a little bit. But what I would do is, right, I would just continue to draw out this little pricing channel right here. So I go here, continue to blast it out. I know it looks a little weird on the TikTok. Let me bring this down. But you guys see what I'm talking about, right? You see what I'm trying to make sense of right here. You could continue to play this until the trend breaks. My bad. I want to keep it about where I had it naturally. I don't like to get into the habit of adjusting my trend lines because you don't want to keep adjusting it, at least for me, where my mind is at. There are some times where I'll tailor it or make some modifications as we get more data like this, but I don't want to get in the habit of moving it too much because you kind of lose the essence of what you originally saw. So on one end, it's good to tailor it and fine tune it, but you also don't want to get so far away where you're kind of moving, which you don't see, you're inadvertently moving stops and moving entries. So kind of keeping it where it needs to be. Big shout out to Mocha Ray. Thank you so much for the rose. Thank you for the likes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But here we are. We're looking at the Walmart, right? We're looking at Walmart on the 30-minute chart. And all I would like to do is continue to play it in this little zone, in this pricing channel. Just let it bounce off of each wall. Boom. Come on down. Come down here. Boom. Bounce up. Take the calls up to the upside. Let it come up here. Boom. Come back on down. And then the next thing that we could do to add some more confluence and confidence to our trades is to go back and put some support and resistance levels, right? So this is the other day right here where Walmart had reached an all-time high. So we might consider just drawing a support and resistance zone right here. Price may want to gravitate and come back down to here. Let me go ahead and bring this up a little bit more so we can get more data on our screen from TradingView. Let me squeeze this on down. Let's bring this. Still got to come down a little bit more. Let's do that. All right, there we go. There we go. Here we are in the trading view. So yeah, look at this. This is just how Walmart's behaving, and you can find this with plenty of tickers. Walmart worked out perfectly today. So what I would do, just our initial charting, is I would just keep this up, and I'll tell my Discord community exactly what I'm looking for. A bounce to come down here, maybe in the pre-market. Right now, in the aftermarket is right down here, and then catch calls to the upside. If price gets up here and it stays within this little trend, bow, take the calls down to the downside. I mean, the puts to the downside. Mocha Ray says Nvidia all the way. Yo, Junebug, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Kev underscore 23 says thoughts on PEGY. Thank you for the follow. All right, Tokyo Frank says, what's your thoughts on HD? So I'm gonna go to my boy Tokyo Frank first, and then we will go to the PEGY. So let's go to open up a Home Depot tab, which I still should have. I haven't looked at Home Depot since we got out of that trade. What was it, a week and a half ago? So my charting notes should still be here. And let's just see if we're still in that same trend. Let's just see. Let's see. Let's see. Yo, F, thank you for joining. Mocha Ray, thank you for the likes. We got a few people rocking with us. All right, so here is Home Depot. I haven't charted it since we got out of the trade at the beginning of June or the first week of June. And it's so interesting because one of the things I've been noticing, at least for me, let me move this back. One of the things I've been noticing is that I believe that gaps sometimes serve as areas where price does not like to be. Now, the way that I chart my gaps on my charts are these white shaded areas. So if you ever see a white shaded area on my chart, that's just where a gap is. Now, look exactly what happened with Home Depot. Let's look at what happened with Home Depot here. This was the support and resistance zone. This is when we got into Home Depot, the trade. We held it for a few days. We had a little bit dip down, and then we came up and we took profits. I really was planning on holding Home Depot all the way until August. The contracts that I got expired in mid-August or late August. But look at this. We jumped over this gap, jumped over this next gap, even though it kind of did come down and fill it with the little candlestick. And now we're up here at this bigger gap up here. So to Toki Frank's question, my thoughts on it. I am still bullish on Home Depot, especially if you redefine your trend line. And as long as it's following this trend up, like I said, I was originally bullish on Home Depot until August for my options contracts that I bought that were expiring, I think mid-August. So in this moment, it's still following what I initially charted. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Home Depot as of right now. Now, if we see a break of trend, then we might need to change that, may do some recharting. Let's not be naive, though. As much as my theory on gaps are it's areas where price doesn't want to be, we know that gaps eventually will get filled. So you just want to exercise caution. It's almost like we're kind of jumping around mines at this point, right? Because now we don't want, if you're in calls, if you're long Home Depot, we don't really want these gaps to be filled. Just go ahead and keep gapping up. Yo, Floor Care for 12. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Yo, J Biggs, that's what's up. What's going on? What's going on? Now, the person that asked for PEGY, are you still in the building? The person that asked for PEGY, are you still in the building? Let's save and close that. Let's see if we can go find PEGY. PEGY. Oh, I got to create that chart. All right, so HMP 2318 says, hey, Curtis, I want to buy some more NVIDIA or ARM. What do you think is a good buy to hold? All right, Kev is still in the building. All right, Kev, I got you on the PEGY. Let's go look for it. Oh, man, wants to buy more NVIDIA or ARM. What do you think is a good buy to hold? I haven't really looked at ARM, so I'll have to check that out in a moment. All right, here we are, PEGY, Pineapple Energy. I remember, what was it, a few weeks ago on my live? I think I felt like we talked about this a little bit. We touched on PEGY. Definitely what we can tell from the daily chart is it is in a downtrend. It did close this gap right here, though. So we may be hitting a nice support area. Now, HMP 231. No, not you. My bad. Kev. Yo, Kev. Are you currently in PEGY? Are you currently in right now? Or are you looking to get in to go long? Is that what you're thinking about? because that may be a little bit different on my thoughts on if it was me. I can't give you financial advice, but if it was me, it does look like we have a gap to the upside that needs to be filled. But I want to say this, right? And I talked about this in the webinar, the options trading webinar that I did on Saturday. It's for me, it's really hard to kind of trade these tickers, right? Because to a degree, the data's kind of limited. Uh, maybe not, maybe not. Hold on. It's just when we see something with like these strong declines, I guess the first question that we want to ask ourselves is like what caused these spikes, right? My hesitancy with kind of doing charting on these types of tickers, these penny ticker symbols, if you will, and I'm not knocking them. I'm just trying to express my challenge and being able to do like real good technical analysis is, what we see is this overall downtrend. And it does appear that we hit a support and resistance zone, but we have to make sense of what caused these spikes because they don't appear to be technically analytically related, right? They're not technical analysis related. It seems like some of these ticker symbols were getting the bull push up benefit of some other tickers like GameStop. A few weeks ago, we all had the frenzy with CRNK, with what was the other one? FFIE, things like that. But for Kev, if you're long and you're already been holding, then we want to check that out. All right, JT, thank you for the follow. No shares. Okay, no shares. With that being said, as somebody who's not holding shares, me personally, I would like to see it come down to this line, which appears to be let's kind of chart it just to be a little bit more accurate. And we are in a downtrend. If I was to go long, if I was to get in, right? If I was, I really wouldn't. I really wouldn't. I'm not knocking it. Please don't take it the wrong way. I'm not knocking it. But if I was to get in, I would want to come down to like this support and resistance zone. Let me kind of chart it out right quick. And I would feel confident that uh price, you know what I mean? Price isn't gonna drop too much lower. And plus the bang for your buck, right? With these penny stocks, you get a lot of bang for your buck, so you can buy a lot uh without spending a lot. Something like right in here, something in this range. Let me change the color on it right quick. Nope, I want to change the shade. Something about in here. If we could come down to this area between this kind of 67 cents to 88 cents, something down in here, I would be happy to go long. But that's just me. That's just my analysis and the way I would play it because I just, we can't make sense of what's causing the spikes, right? Those quick bull runs. And it's not like a regular S&P 500 ticker symbol, right? Where we have so much data that more so the algorithms of the technical analysis are really what's going to drive us being able to do, some pinpointing like we did with Walmart, right? Okay, all right, JT, thank you for the follow. Let's see. Let's go. Jerry Garcia says penny stocks is gambling, right? I don't want, gambling has such a connotation to it. They're definitely riskier, but as a trader, I'm really hesitant to use that word gambling. I think it's gambling when we're entering into trades without any predefined plan and without being able to fully explain why we entered a trade. That's gambling. But I don't really want to just throw out the gambling term because you know how people, if they're not traders, the way that they talk about us, oh, you're just gambling, you're just gambling. So I don't want to just throw that on penny stocks, but what I will say is if you're getting into them without a real concrete plan or rationale, then yeah, that's gambling. For sure, Kev, for sure. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Okay. Tokyo Frank said JC Montana. I was looking into Disney earlier. Okay, we got a few people looking into Disney. M. Berry, thank you for the follow. JC Montana. Let's go take a look at Disney. It's been a long time since I've charted it, so I wonder if some of my charting notes are still there. Let's see, DIS. We got a few. It looks like the last time I looked at Disney, if this is correct, might have been in April. So let's take a look. Let's see what we got going on. Thank y'all for running up the likes. Let's hit that 2,500. Let's hit that 2,500 likes. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate you. All right. Let me turn off a few things. Let me update this chart. Let me make sure it's all right. Let me hit these settings. Let's go to the canvas. Where is the day? Is this it? All right. Now, what we don't want are these things. None. We want a little bit of the gradient. Okay. Here we are. Let's look at Disney. Where are you at, Disney? Get the complaint. All right, here is Disney. Okay. What would I be looking at? Now, I want to start off on a higher time frame. So we're just doing first looks. First looks. Looks like it's been in this consolidation zone, almost trading sideways. Trading sideways for some time now. We have a gap up, but we're still in this consolidation zone. Youth. Oh man. Oh, Disney. Okay. You guys might be onto something. I'm just going on what my eyes initially see first. This is what my eyes first see on the daily chart. Something like that. We're gonna draw this other one. It's like a downside broadening formation, if you will. All right, y'all, just bear with me. This is what my eyes are initially seeing. It looks like Disney's trying to fight. It's just fighting its way down. It's trying to fight its way down, but it's at based off of this initial little pricing channel or downward broadening formation that goes back to what is that? This is back in May. So we've been even if we don't account for this gap down, right? Since May, it's just been just fledgling down, right? Over a month, it's just been coming down, but it looks like it's getting more and more support, right? It was dropping down a lot more steeper, but it looks like it's finally getting support. So, what I would like to see, because my first inclination, right, would be tomorrow if the market opened up. This is just me. Once it kind of bounced off of this wall here, to quick sell some puts on the way down, but we're getting more of a support and resistance zone here. And so what I would like to see is it break this trend. If I was to get some long calls, right, some calls that expire in a few months, I would like to see Disney break this trend for a couple of days, maybe 2 to 3 days breaking the trend up to the upside up here. Then I would do another trend line, right? Another trend line that goes that way, this way, and then wait for it to bounce off the bottom of the trend line to take calls up. That would be my approach. That's how I would do it. All right, Two Bears, thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. Rob, thank you for the follow. All right, all right. Toki Frank says, "Hey, bro, when is your next seminar?" I don't know, man. It's not something that I think I plan on doing often. I need to get better at doing them more weekly for my Discord community to give them value. We should at least be having a weekly Q&A just amongst the community members, but a public webinar like how I did the options mechanics part 2, I don't know if there's some strong demand. I'll whip up another one, but it also takes time because I'm pulling from my experience, my trading journal, my mistakes, things that I wish I would have knew earlier, things that I don't want beginner traders to make mistakes doing. And so I can't really call it. They really just come when I feel like I've compiled enough experience to really talk about something. So that could happen in 2 months, it could happen in 6 months or something like that. Uh, but that's just kind of how my mind frame is and how it works. But just to reiterate, just to recap, if you're looking at this Disney chart, we're looking at the Disney daily chart. It's been in this ultimate downward trend since May, since the beginning of May. It's finally kind of consolidating sideways. So it's getting some nice base level support. What I would do is once it breaks this trend down, a couple of days of the trend being broken, I would take some calls long. That's the way I would go. Once we got a nice solid trend that's developed. All right. All right. Yes, indeed. Yo, still 1214. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Sometimes it is hard to see there. JC Montana says, do you see it reaching 105 by next week? Where are we at? Where are we at with Disney? Disney is currently at 101.50. Um, I mean, there's two ways that I look at this, right? We all know that historical performance, or doesn't necessarily that means that's how something's going to behave in the future, but it does give us a good idea. So 105 from where we're currently at is about $4, 354 bucks. So how long did it take Disney to potentially travel that distance down? So right here, what was the last time 105 was at? 105, the last time we were at 105 was, it appears to be May 15th, so a month ago. A month ago. I mean, anything can happen in a day, right? It could pop up like that in a day. But Disney's normal speed, unless there was some catalyst or some bad news or something like that that's causing this decline, Disney's normal speed, it took it a month, or what was this? What is this? Yeah, the last time it was really in 105, it took it a month to get down here. So at least a few weeks. I don't know about next week unless we get some real breakage of the trend. Um, Maybe within a month, maybe in 3 weeks, a month, I will be confident in that. But by next week, I don't know. Who knows? You know what I mean? We got all kind of stuff going on. Um, HMP 2318 says ARM or Nvidia for the long run. And thank you again, man, for always going live and talking stocks. No, of course, of course. I don't know enough about ARM. I should know enough about ARM. Um, Nvidia. So before I finish up with Disney, I don't know. We can't predict it, so I'm not trying to come up with somebody that predicts. Just the way that it's moving and traveling now, I don't know if next week it could happen. Sometimes I'll be wrong. Sometimes I'll be like, nah, and then the next day it's at 105, right? So I could be wrong. It's possible. What I will say is this. What I will say is once it breaks this trend, at least for a solid day or two, I definitely would be strongly looking at getting into calls. That's the bare minimum for sure. I could tell you, bro. So that's what I would definitely, I'm probably going to add this to the watch list. 1 to 2 solid days of this broken trend downward, especially because it seems like we're starting to trade sideways and consolidate a little bit with the base of support. I definitely will be looking for that. And then we can come back and see, when was the last time? Uh, oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. We got that support right there. We got that. So Disney wanted to come and close this gap that was formed. Now we had to zoom way out. This was way back in 2024. This is in February of 2024 right here. So we're at the daily chart, right? Daily chart, February of 2024. Disney wanted to come on down and kind of close up this gap, which could act as some good support, right? Now that we got this gap closed. So that gives me further confidence in what I was saying. I didn't cherry pick. I didn't look at this. We're looking at this live together. We're looking at it live together. But yeah, nice little support area. At a minimum, I would like 1 or 2 days of this broken trend downward, forming a nice uptrend, and I would get some calls for as far out as possible, like end of summer calls. That's what I would do. Some end of the summer calls, if I could afford it, that were close to the money as possible or in the money. Okay, so Nvidia or ARM? Ah, man. Let me just speak to Nvidia, please. Let me just speak to that. Let me just speak to the Nvidia right quick. Now I just charted Nvidia. It was in my charting from last night. I don't know if you were on when I talked about it. But you're talking about for long-term investing. I'll say this. Uh I currently still have it in my mother's long-term portfolio. Um and the only thing that's preventing me from adding Nvidia to my long-term portfolio, this is going to sound really, really kooky, really cheesy to all of you, but I'm just going to keep it real. My whole thing is passive income. So the name of my Discord is Passive Income University. So for me, a big driver for my portfolio, me individually, like I said, it's in my mom's portfolio long term, but for me individually is not only a company that's going to have growth, the capital gains, right, the stock, but a solid dividend payer. And right now, because of the split, the Nvidia dividend is like less than a fraction of a penny or something like that. Now, I know you guys are laughing. I know you guys are like, oh my gosh, a dividend investor. Like, bro, you're getting all the gains from the stock going up. You're exactly right. I'm not taking that away from it, but I just, kind of, I would like a little bit more on the dividends. But that's because I'm a big proponent of passive income. whatever you can do to get passive income, whether you got a rental property, you got a business that kind of runs on its own, you got some type of something extra, you got dividend stocks. That I'm huge on passive income. But here we are. Here we're looking at Nvidia. And so what I would do is at a minimum, because look at how we're kind of bouncing. The same thing with Walmart. Look at this kind of swing high. The same thing with Walmart. We're bouncing off of this little top, so we could probably come down. What I would do is we're on a daily chart, or this is the 30-minute. This is the 30-minute, my bad. Here's what I would do at a minimum, just to give us some very tangible steps, very tangible steps. Take away my whole thing with the dividends and passive income. This is exactly what I would do here. I would, and it probably would be better if we did this on the daily chart, but because Nvidia is like kind of crazy, this is just a very bad trend line. I wouldn't necessarily do it like this, but I think first we have this trend line down. I would try to identify the next area of strong support, which could be here. That doesn't give me a lot of confidence that this is strong support, but I'm looking for two things. These would be the two simple things I would look for in terms of when I would want to get into NVDA for the long term. So the first answer to your question for me individual, because I can't give you guys advice, right? But for me individually is I am bullish on Nvidia. I do still believe it's a good long-term play to have right now. They are dominating. In terms of when I would enter, the way I would enter is looking for where's the next level of the support zone and when this breaks this trend down. Once it breaks this trend down, which will probably be once it hits some more support somewhere, that's when I would kind of enter. So once it comes down and it breaks this line, something like that, I would enter there. I don't know exactly what that price may be. You know, it could be uh just guessing. Where are we at? Let me bring this in. Let's move this over. Let's move it over for us to see. It could be, right in here somewhere. 130. That's not even, that's not that much of a price movement, too much. Here we go. A little bit more of a support. Here we go. Right in here. Right in here. This would be what I would like to see. Now, it depends on two things. We wanted the price to come down here, but right about this area, maybe about 133, that would be a better entry in terms of the immediate. In the immediate, right? You're still kind of paying a price. It's kind of pricey for Nvidia, but that would be my immediate look. Now, if you want to take a step back and zoom out and maybe do some more analysis, yeah, definitely, right? But right in here is appearing to be a nice support and resistance zone. But that's just me. We have to be comfortable with possibly missing out on continued run up. That's what we all experience, right? We all experience that kind of like, damn, I should have just got in when I could have. But it would be nice. We can't have everything our way, but for me, it would just be nice if it just came on down here, it got in this zone, and I would buy. I would buy right up in here. It's not that much of a price difference. It's a matter of, $2, $3, depending on how you look at it. But that would be the way I would go about it. JC Montana, thank you for the follow, my guy. I appreciate that, Tokyo Frank. HMSLAS. This Nvidia stock is insanely inflated by the market maker Wall Street elites. Now, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I agree with you. I'm gonna keep it real. I agree with you. I'm gonna keep it real. Do you guys remember when a few years ago, this was like right when I first got into options trading? You guys remember a few years ago, when the tech stocks, especially Apple, was just running up? Remember, Apple was just running up, and then we found out it was SoftBank that was just buying all the shares. Remember that? We found out it was SoftBank. I believe it was SoftBank because there was memes going on around it. So, HMSLAS. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I agree with you. I really do. It right now, the darling that the market makers have chosen to run up is Nvidia. All that, if that's what it is, it is what it is. And so that's why that whole idea, let me just kind of, I hope you guys don't mind if I rant a little bit. That's why that whole idea of like the trend is your friend is so powerful. We do the best that we can to figure out what the market makers are doing because they're the ones moving the market. And right now, they've elected or selected Nvidia to be the one. And so I do agree with you. It is inflated. There's even, I don't know if you guys seen some of the theories out there that they're faking the numbers and they're not really selling all the chips and all that kind of stuff. But what we can't deny is that people are making money. All right, all right. Khalid says, or Khalid says, how do you make a day? How much do you make a day? So to answer your question, Khalid, I don't necessarily look at how much I make a day just because options trading and trading in general is so irregular. I used to really aim for that, but it caused me to lose a lot of money trying to have like a daily target. I'll tell you overall where I'm at in my journey. I trade with about 1,000, and on average right now, based on my skill set, my ups and downs, my wins, my losses, I'm averaging about 400 to 600 profit a month. So not nothing crazy or spectacular, but that's about where I'm at. So today was a nice day. Today I made, this right here. I know you guys could barely see it, but this was $330 today. But it might be $80 tomorrow. It could be 200, or not tomorrow when the market is open. It might be 80. It might be, but just to give you an idea, typically where I'm at about right now, high sixes to end the month, something like that. But today was a really good day. Very thankful. One and done trade, made 330. So the key here is protect these profits, protect the capital, and don't make a mistake. Don't psychologically F up. Don't make a mistake. Do what I need to do to hold on to these profits. All right. All right. HMSLAS, the elites loves to trap the retailers as high as they can. This is their job. I feel you on that, right? I'm going to give you guys a perfect example of I'm going to just address what HMSLA is saying, and then I'll get more into the comments. But I'm going to give you guys a perfect example, and this is really why I say I'm a very conservative trader. So, my mother, I got her into Nvidia back in 2020. In August of 2020, she used about $1,000 and bought Nvidia back when it was at like $120 a share or something like that. I think I have a screenshot somewhere. Let me see if I can find it really quick if it's in here. Uh, I just posted about it, but bear with me. Maybe not. Maybe it's not in here. Uh, let's see. It probably didn't pull the picture over, but basically to HMSLA at this point, let me explain my whole rationale, and then we'll get back into some other things. So, um, me and my mom decided to put Nvidia into her long-term portfolio in August of 2020. I think her average cost basis, average share price was like $120, right? She bought $1,000 worth. Currently, she's up 900%, almost 1,000% on Nvidia. What I did was I took out her base investment, that 1,000 that she invested. I took it out, and then we can just let the winners run. Now, whatever happens, right? Whatever happens, she will not be impacted. She's completely just using the market's money. And that's essentially, in terms of my conspiracy theorist mind and understanding the market makers, the way that I do my investing and my trading. Very conservative. If you're fortunate enough to get to 100% return, I strongly, for me, I can't give you guys financial advice, but I strongly recommend if you can get to 100% return, take out as much as you can so that no matter what happens, you're forever in profit. That's right. Save your capital. Save your capital. Khalid, thank you for the follow. Definitely, definitely. All right. Khalid says, what do you trade with? So primarily I'm on Robinhood. I have Thinkorswim and Webull. Over the past few weeks, I've been hearing bad things about Thinkorswim. Essentially, I'll just keep it real with you guys. And if you've been on my lives before, you've heard me say the same thing kind of over and over. I started off on Robinhood. That's my comfort zone. It's very easy. The user interface is very, very easy. Yes, we all know the crookedness and the shadiness of Robinhood, especially a few years ago with GameStop and all that kind of stuff. But what we're all seeing is that a lot of these brokers are crooked in their own ways, right? Over these past couple of weeks, I've been seeing all kinds of complaints about Thinkorswim, which is now owned by Charles Schwab. People logging in and being frozen out of their accounts, their balances not reflecting correctly, things like that. But what I will say is, if I was to start over, I would tell myself to start with Webull. Basically, what happens is you start on Robinhood. It's very easy. The user interface is nice, right, and easy to navigate. But as you develop as a trader, at least for me, you begin to have certain needs that Robinhood doesn't really offer, like trailing stop losses, the ability to have hotkeys, especially with a nice integrated desktop app to trade with, which is what Webull has. I have hotkeys set up so I can immediately enter and exit trades the way that I want. My predefined trailing stop loss, it knows all my customization. So yeah, my comfort zone is Robinhood, but I do have Webull, and bit by bit, I'm putting more and more capital over there so I can finally transition. But I'm gonna be real with y'all, it's probably gonna take me a while. It'll probably take me a while before I'm really just leaning on Webull. All right. Um, let's see. Is that Lee Lindsay? Thank you for the follow. HMSLAS NVIDIA hourly, daily, weekly, monthly chart does not look right. Yeah, for real. Every time frame is not looking right over there. Every time frame is not looking right. Let me bring back the charts. Let's bring back up the charts. So for those of us that were interested, if you're just joining, kind of what we're talking about, overall, the question was about going long on NVIDIA. I am still bullish for a multitude of reasons, whether it's conspiratorial because of the market makers, whether it's the quote unquote business model, they're dominating the AI space and all that kind of stuff. But ultimately, if I was to go long, right, I would like to see for it to continue to come down off of this trend. This is the 30-minute chart. So we've got this kind of initial 30-minute downward trend that is forming at the end of today. I would like to see it come down to what I believe is a support and resistance area, which isn't that far. It's only a couple dollars away, $2 to $3 away from the current stock price. But I would like for it to come back down here if I was to enter to the upside or calls or something like that. Of course, the challenge with one of these stocks is it's always that like, am I gonna miss it? Am I gonna miss it? But remember, you don't want to have FOMO. Whether you're long-term investing or trading, never let FOMO make you do something, because we know how easy it is to get burned when we give into FOMO. All right, all right. Mary, thank you for coming through. Thank you for joining. Thank y'all for the likes. Thank y'all for the likes. Let me kind of go through here. I want to give a big shout out to my boy Toki Frank. Appreciate you, my guy. Um, let's see. Servi, are you still in the building? Servi says, when do you think Nvidia will have a huge sweep? I don't know, man. I don't know. When do we feel like most of the most average retail investors is all in there, right? When we feel like just everybody's in it, when you're talking to your grandma, when you're talking to Joe Blow down the street, the mailman, where you're talking to the little kid with the lemonade stand, when everybody's in it, when it's just everywhere you look, right? The people that never ever even are nowhere near it. When you start hearing them, which we're kind of at that kind of craze, right? That might be when it happens. We can never predict. And that's one of the things I love when you guys ask me questions. Please, I love the engagement. It gives me energy. I really do feed off the energy. But one thing I would encourage us, especially for us new traders, is try to take ourselves out of the mindset of like predictions and when do you think something is going to happen. Try the hardest that you can just to focus on what is happening, especially if you're trading. What is happening right in front of us? And I know that's very hard, right? Because price is constantly moving, it's going up and down. We want to predict it. But I've noticed more improvement in my trading if I'm not trying to predict, well, I think it's going to go here. I try not to do that. Of course, it's a natural part of what we do as traders, but I will say try as hard as you can to get out of the predictive mindset and just the what is happening mindset. All right, Mango. I can't pronounce it. Is it Mangal Pakring Karing? You can check the link in the bio. All right, buying PayPal stock mimic buying the VIX. Yep. Thank you so much, HMP2318. Is that Naya Chala? Is that one name, Naya? Oh man, I really want to get the enunciation, the pronunciation correct. Naya, thank you for coming through. Thanks for joining. Y'all, I'll go check the link in the bio. But if you want more free content, please go check out my YouTube. Curtis G24 and Passive Income University. I have two YouTube channels, plenty of free content there. All of the videos are uploaded. Big Steppa, thank you for the follow. Big shout out to Big Steppa. Let me see any other requests or questions in here. Market isn't open tomorrow. That's right. Juneteenth holiday. So it's good. Tomorrow's a good day to take our minds off the charts and do some back testing, do some homework, do some research. But yeah, so that's what I would see. Now, my original thing, let's go see what I was saying about Nvidia last night. Let's go see what I was saying about it last night. Trading chat room and potential puts around 135.39. Ooh, was I right? Was I wrong? Was I wrong? Was I right? Was I wrong? Was I right? Was I wrong? Was I right? What did I say? 135.39. Kinda. I mean, kinda. If you were super scalping, if you were getting in and out and you got in puts right here, you probably made just a little bit of money on some options contracts, depending on how you got in and out. You got in and out, but you had to be super quick because it just shot back up. So a little bit. I was off a little bit on my range, right? Because we're currently at 135.66. So about what I was saying, right? And this was last night. So like I said, not trying to predict it, but really just what is the data telling us, right? So what I said last night, 8 p.m., I was saying potential puts around 135.39. And that's kind of what happened. Kind of what happened. Maybe it was a little premature, but basically all I did was I charted out, right? This little line here where we're seeing Nvidia bump up and come down. Get to this line, bump up and come down. That's about it. So for a quick scalp, just based off of that, you could have got a little something in there. Had to be quick. All right. See you in a bit, my boy. Big step in the building. Stacy now. Thoughts on Tesla? Let's go take a look. It's been a while since I looked at Tesla. Elon got approved for that crazy payout package. Looking like the last time I looked at Tesla was in May. Okay, all right. Appreciate y'all running up the likes, 3.5K, or at least we're close. Okay, all right, all right. Let's see. Let's see, let's see, let's see, let's see. Um, so this is Tesla on the daily chart. Let's zoom out so we can really see it clearly. Let me clear all my former uh drawings. All right, so here's Tesla. We're looking at the daily chart. And the first thing that my eyes try to do is I just try to identify the trend and support and resistance. That's the long and short of it. Nothing special, y'all. Nothing special at all. I like to keep, I've noticed I'm just one of those people that the more simple my trading strategy is, the better I do. I wish I was one of those ones that was like, kind of really, ooh, here is the fair value gap inverse. We got the VWAP, we got the such and such. This is coming over here. Pow, 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 pow. I really wish I was like that, but I'm not. My trading just does a lot better when it's just super simple. So whenever I'm looking at a chart initially, the first thing I'm looking at is just if my eyes can easily identify a trend. And when I can't, I usually would just go away. And right now, my eyes don't necessarily see easily spottable trend with Tesla. It definitely looks like, of course, we've been trading in this range, right? Consolidation. And we all know typically this consolidation means there's going to be a strong pop either to the upside or the downside, but that's nothing new, right? We all kind of know that. If you're a beginner trader, which is who I really want to focus on and speak to, what we see here, when you see price kind of trading sideways, we kind of call this consolidation. And typically what it indicates is that there's going to be a strong move in either the downside or the upside. So I like to think of it as like a ping pong ball that's bouncing faster and faster between two walls, right? Super, super fast because the walls are so close together. And as that ping pong ball or Pong, anybody remember the old video game on Atari called Pong? As it's bouncing faster and faster between those two walls, kind of consolidating, one of those walls is going to give out and it's going to break and it's going to shoot through. So clearly it looks like we got some gaps down here to the downside that could be filled, but it almost looked like there was some gaps to the upside as well. Is this gap closed? Just about this gap closed. So um yeah, can't really call it. Can't really call it. Since I can't really see a good wholesome trend, I would kind of stay away. What I would do is you might even, I mean, you could see a little something right here. It could be a trick. It could be a trick, right? You just don't know. Um, but you might want to do something like that. You see that? And then I might just break it down to that 30. That 30. Boom, something like that. What I would like to see. So if we're talking about scalping, maybe when the market opens back up, if price was to drop down here somewhere like that, that's why I came up with that kind of price range for Nvidia that was a little off because it's hard to estimate it, right? But if the next candle was to open, if it was to drop straight down, I would be looking to enter some calls right around here, which is perfect because it's right in this little support and resistance zone right here. But as more time goes by, right, let's say we get to June 21st at 8 o'clock, right? It may be something around here, maybe like the 180 zone. So it just kind of depends on the time. That's really how I've been kind of like playing my trends, that kind of thing. And that's why the pricing was a little off on Nvidia, just kind of playing the trends and seeing the time, but just following the trend line up. So once we kind of come down here into the support and resistance zone from a scalper standpoint, a quick day trade standpoint, I would look to enter some calls and then just quickly get in and out, get some profits and get going. That's the way I would do that. Stacy, now thank you so much for the like. So I hope I was able to give you a little value on Tesla in terms of a short-term trade or how I would approach it from a scalper's mentality or a scalper standpoint. Yep. Yo, Chris, what's going on? But just one more recap for all of us. So if you're just now joining, I just want to recap the Walmart trade. So these were the charting notes from last night. I always take a lot of pride. I'm always feeling very proud of myself when I'm able to give my charting notes before the market opened. So this was last night at 8:09 p.m. The four ticker symbols I was looking at were Walmart, Amazon, Nvidia, and Target. And the main one was Walmart. So here is the Walmart chart, and Walmart has been basically operating in this little pricing channel, just bouncing side to side. And what I was saying was, here was how the candlestick ended yesterday, right? Where the cursor is moving right here. I was saying that either a price could come down here to enter some calls, or if it got to this top, this kind of area, to enter some puts. Now, if we go back to the live chart or the current chart on TradingView, this is exactly what happened. So this was the candle right there on how the day ended. Walmart opened up with a nice gap up and it kind of hit this at the top. I entered into puts, took it down to close this gap. And once the gap closed and I had profits, I went ahead and got out of there. In true fashion, you could have held on longer and made some money, but that's the key, not to be greedy. Let the greed go, take your profits and go. One and done for the day and got out of there. And then we seen the same thing. Look, this is kind of beautiful to me, right? Come up to here, bounce down, come down here and bounce off of here. Boom. So this would have been a good opportunity right over here to take some calls, which in the last candlestick of the day on the 30-minute chart, I mean, you can even chart this out again because we see how the price did as a support and resistance zone, just like that, bow. And so that's one of the things I talked about in the webinar that I hosted on Saturday. So if you want to see that full length webinar, the course that I hosted on options trading, it's on YouTube right now for free. It's up. So it's plenty of good content in here. But for my new traders, for those of us that are brand new, one thing that I definitely believe in is that support becomes resistance and resistance becomes support. So we saw that at one point, this was resistance for Walmart. Then it was able to break through, and now look, is acting as support. So what we saw, this was yesterday's last candle right here. Yesterday's last candle came up, came down, closed the gap, acted as some support, came up, came down, acted as support again, which also corresponds to, this is what I consider to be confluence. It also corresponds to bouncing up off of here. So that was a good indication. That would have gave me a lot of confidence. If I hadn't already had my one and done trade, my green trade, this would have gave me a lot of confidence right here to go ahead and enter some calls because we're in a support and resistance zone. We're bouncing right off of where this wall is and to ride that up. But like I said, my strategy is very simple. I don't, I can't tell you about the ICT or the inverted that or fair value gaps or Fibonacci or VWAPs. And I'm not knocking all of that. I wish I was one of those people that could explain VWAP and Fibonacci and break it down for you and Bollinger Bands and be able to tell you quickly what they mean and how they come to play. But for me, keeping my trading very, very simple, it's done wonders for my progress, my profitability, and my success, my consistency as a trader. Of course, Stacy. Yep. Lee Lindsay says, "Do you daily trade on Robinhood?" I do. I'll show you right now. Don't crack jokes. Don't make fun of me. But here's where I put all the confirmations for all my trades. It's all Robinhood. I put my trading confirmations in here, this week's trade confirmations. So I try to do the best that I can to be transparent. All Robinhood, daily trades, scalping, Robinhood. It's all Robinhood. Like I said, I am taking my time. I'm putting more and more money into Webull and Thinkorswim. So once Webull and Thinkorswim, I get to like a couple $1,000s in each one of my accounts, I'll be trading more and more on those platforms. But in the meantime, this is where we're at. Robinhood, Robinhood. Here's Webull. Look, my last Webull trade was May 22nd. So not that long ago. I just have to force myself to use it. But Webull, boom. Yep, yep. We might even see Thinkorswim in here somewhere. Maybe. Is that another Webull screenshot? Here's Webull right here. Robinhood, Robinhood. Yep, yep, yep. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All right. So yeah, 99% Robinhood, but bit by bit, I'm working my way into Webull. All right, D4 Eagles, D4L Eagles. Thanks for coming through. Appreciate you. What's up, Chris? What's going on? What's going on? But yeah, so that was the trade of the day. The Walmart came through perfectly. Nice, wholesome 28% on the trade. I know you guys could barely see it, but I can't complain at all. 20 minutes, 28%, about 330 some odd dollars, something like that. But I look forward to chopping it up and rocking with y'all again the next time I go live. If you guys want more content, go over to the YouTube channels, Curtis G24 or Passive Income University. Feel free to send me a message. You got any questions, anything that I can do to give you more value. But in the meantime, in between time, as I always say at the end of all my lives, if you did any trading today, please, please, please log it in your trading journal. That's one of the number one things that has helped elevate my trading is to log my trades in my trading journal so that I can have a real record of what I did wrong, what I did right, and show me how I can continue to improve, how I can get more knowledge, and how I can elevate. So please, if you did any trading whatsoever today, log it in your trading journal, and I'll holler at y'all the next time. All right. Peace.